Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. So finally, India scored for the one-off Test and three-match ODI series versus Afghanistan has been announced, and plenty of talking points, plenty of surprises. If you start with the Test squad, Rishabh Pant has been demoted. Now Rishabh Pant is no longer the vice captain of the Indian Test team. For the one-off Test, selectors have picked KL Rahul as the deputy to Shubman Gill. So I'll just quickly read out both the squads, and then we will discuss on both the squads. First, the Test squad: Shubman Gill, captain; Yashasvi Jaiswal; KL Rahul, vice captain; Sai Sudarshan; Rishabh Pant; Devdutt Padikkal; Nitish Kumar Reddy; Washington Sundar; Kuldeep Yadav; Mohammad Siraj; Prasidh Krishna; Manav Sudhar; Gurnur Brar; Harsh Dubey; and Dhruv Jurel. One day squad: Shubman Gill captain, Shreyas Iyer vice captain, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Ishan Kishan, Hardik Pandya, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Washington Sundar, Kuldeep Yadav, Arshdeep Singh, Prasidh Krishna, Prince Yadav, Gurnur Brar, and Harsh Dubey. Some new faces are also there: Gurnur Brar, Harsh Dubey making their way in both the squads, and Prince Yadav also made an ODI call up for Prince Yadav as well. But the biggest talking point is obviously the demotion of Rishabh Pant last summer in England before the England series, when Shubman Gill was appointed the captain of the Indian Test team. He was appointed as his deputy, and now almost 1 year later on, Rishabh Pant finds himself in the squad but not as a vice captain. So that's the big talking point. Jasprit Bumrah has been rested, as selectors have confirmed that Jasprit Bumrah has been given rest because he's been playing continuously, and workload management is a thing with him. So Jasprit Bumrah has been rested for both the series, ODI series and the one-off test. Also, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are there in the one-day squad. Uh, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Washington Sundar find places in both the squads. Yashasvi Jaiswal is not there in the ODI squad. Another talking point is Yashasvi Jaiswal not being there. Once again, he was not there for the New Zealand series as well, and again not there in this squad as well. But as I said, two new faces in both the squads: Gurnur Brar, Harsh Dubey, and Manav Sudhar also gets a place in the Test team. No Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja also, they have said that he's also managing his workload. No Akshar Patel either in either Test squad or one day squad. So plenty of talking points, plenty of surprises as well. But I'll quickly go across to Shamik, who was there in the press conference. Shamik, what were the takeaways of the press conference? Bumrah rested. Were there any questions on Akshar or Jadeja on their selections?
Yes, there was. To start with, first of all, Vaibhav, if you go back to our selection preview, it was clearly mentioned that Bumrah would be rested. In that selection preview, it was written that Manav Sitar is very much in the reckoning, and Rishabh Pant, on a separate copy was written on Rishabh Pant. Now, coming back to the press conference, Jadeja question was asked, and Ajit Agarkar clarified that he remains India's first choice as far as Test cricket is concerned, as because it's a one-off test, he has been rested. So that is the thing. Actually, this team selection has three major takeaways. Number one, it is done and dusted for Mohammad Shami. Full stop. It is absolutely full stop, done and dusted. Rishabh Pant has now been reduced to a single format cricketer. That is number two takeaway. Number three takeaway, Vaibhav Suryavanshi question was asked. But Ajit Agarkar said that he will have to rise through the ranks. India A, he said he has been doing fantastic things, but don't forget, Yashasvi Jaiswal in his last outing had scored a century. So we just hope he plays well for India A. So irrespective, irrespective of the noise on social media or whatever it is, Yashasvi Jaiswal selectors have taken the right approach to ensure Vaibhav Suryavanshi he rises through the ranks. It is not just he will not be served in the Indian team bird on a platter based on his IPL exploits. He will have to play India A and then gradually. So these are the three major takeaways, and almost everything came along the expected lines.
Shamik, anything they said on Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandya while they made the selection? Because still there are a lot of question marks on their fitness. Were there any questions asked on Rohit and Hardik's fitness, where they stand at the moment?
Mr. Devajit Saikia, while reading out the squad, said Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandya's selection are subject to fitness. If If they got the fitness certificate that they are okay, then there will be. Otherwise, it is sort of provisional. But given that, see, the ODI series is still sort of about a month away. Six from six, the test match is starting, and it's still they have enough time. Ajit Agarkar spoke about that also. That we don't. I mean, what whether they are playing through the niggles or anything during the IPL, that is not our concern because we are not monitoring that. But we have to ensure that when they are playing for India, they are absolutely fit. They are 100%. So this is the reason why Rohit Sharma and and Hardik Pandya's selection have been subject to fitness. And there is a clear message that uh, Rohit Sharma, irrespective of whatever kite flying that has been going on, Rohit Sharma is still very, very much part of the ODI scheme of things. ODI World Cup next year is still about a year and a half away, but they are still he is still very, very much. It is not that he will be tested from series to series basis. He still remains India's first choice opener in the 50 over format. Jasassi Jaiswal is his backup. As and when if he misses, then Jasassi Jaiswal comes in. That's it.
And Shamik, anything on Rishabh Pant or KL Rahul being appointed as the vice captain? Is it the long term or is it just for the one-off test?
See, you have to read between the lines there. Rishabh Pant, Devashish and I were there at Guwahati, and without naming him, how Gautam Gambhir had played the stroke shot, how he played that in that first innings against South Africa. And maybe, and just maybe, uh, there was a hint. There was a hint. I mean, as far as ODI cricket is concerned, finally, I mean, you can say that it's unfair not to give him game, not to completely drop him from the squad without giving him game time. But the profile they are asking, even from a reserve keeper batsman, Rishabh Pant is not fitting into that category. And Ishan Kishan, and I said yesterday also, Ishan Kishan, not Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan fits into that category. And don't forget, he has a double hundred in ODI cricket, Ishan Kishan. Now, as far as test match is concerned, what Ajit Agarkar said that he is still very much a world-class test player, everything. He had a very good series in England. But then again, what is in front of us that KL Rahul has been elevated to vice captaincy and Rishabh Pant has been stripped of vice captaincy. Now you can read between the lines.
Devashish, quick thoughts on the test squad before I go to Bharat for the ODI squad.
My only reservation is you should have tried an Akib Nabi. Means he has bowled his heart out in domestic cricket, 60 wickets. It doesn't come easily. So you should have rewarded the domestic performances. Rest, obviously, it's always good to give youngster an opportunity, be it Harsh Dubey or a Gurnur Bra. But what about Akib Nabi? Means obviously he is clearly one can debate about his pace. Obviously, he is not express pace as is the case with fast bowlers, but obviously he can bowl you those long spells, and that has been his biggest positive. But unfortunately, he misses out for me. I totally agree with Shami because it is done and dusted for Mohammad Shami. It was just like looking back. But by picking Akib Nabi, it was looking ahead. And you and selectors are messed it by not picking Akib Javi. Then what does it mean for the youngsters? Means obviously he won't get motivated. Means you should reward the performances in domestic cricket. And one thing that surprises me in this team selection is Akim Nabi's omission from the test squad. He should have been picked.
I'm
Definitely.
just Vaibhav, I'm just chipping in here. I'm just chipping in with the quotes that Ajit Agarkar has given at the press conference. He said Akib Nabi we discussed, and he was very close. But as because it is a home test, we stuck to just three fast bowlers. That is one thing. But I totally agree with Debashish because if you are not picking someone after taking 60 wickets in the Ranji Trophy, then you are sending a wrong message. That you are not taking domestic performances that seriously. I totally. There is a counter logic. There could be a counter logic. Maybe, just maybe, selectors are after being once bitten, they are uh, twice shy because we saw what happened with Anshul Kamboj. Anshul Kamboj had that kind of a high before going to England, right? And when he went to England, his ball was not reaching. Now, maybe after being once bitten, selectors are twice shy. That could also be the case. But once again, I totally agree with Devashish that when you have a 60 wicket season, that has to be rewarded.
Bharat, last season, if
And
you look at
coming the and coming the also the fact that it's a home series and that's against Afghanistan. If you don't
Exactly.
try him for a home series against Afghanistan, are you going to try him for Sri Lanka series? I don't think
I
he
don't
will
think
be.
so.
So
Absolutely.
it was a perfect opportunity.
The best he can hope for is a series in New Zealand.
Exactly.
Bharat, taking forward the question of Akib Nabi's place, last season, I think Bharat screen has frozen. Okay, I think Bharat is facing some technical issues. We'll be back on Bharat. But Shamik, last year, last season, in fact, it was Harsh Dubey who picked the most wickets in a single season, breaking Bishan Bedi's record. And then he was taken to India. He was taken for the England Lions tour, but was not picked in the main squad. And you can understand because England conditions, the conditions didn't allow a lot of spinners in the squad. But now he's being rewarded. Okay, so Bharat is back. Bharat, again, this question is for you. Last to last season, Harsh Dubey was the pick of the bowlers in Ranji cricket. Most number of wickets, breaking Bishan Bedi's record, and then we saw that he was picked in the India squad. He was taken to England as well, and after grooming for 1 year, he travelled with India even to the Rising Asia Cup as well. And now we are seeing that him being rewarded after 2 seasons. So Hakib Nabi, obviously, again, he was a standout bowler in this season. But do you think that selectors have made the right call by picking Prasidh, Mohammad Siraj, and Gurnur Brar? Because I have, in the last 1 year, if you see, Gurnur Brar is one player that they have backed a lot. Even rest of India, the Irani Cup match, rest of India picked Gurnur Brar for that game, which was played in Nagpur only. I covered that game. Gurnur Brar over Akib Nabi. How do you see this selection?
Yes, see, Gurnur Barar, I think they are looking at raw attributes. I think that is what they're quite keen on. So I think they're looking maybe beyond Ranji Trophy. That's what I genuinely believe so, especially after what happened to someone like Anshul Kamboj, after what happened to Karun Nair. See, I have the greatest respect for Ranji Trophy, but it is played on a lot of grassy wickets where the wickets tend to stay low and bowlers who bowl at 125 kilometers per hour look like Malcolm Marshalls of the world. This is not a point of view to Akib Nabi, but it's just a general point of view because I've seen ex left arm bowler, I won't take his name, this left arm bowler bowling at 115 kilometers per hour, suddenly looking like Wasim Akram in the Ranji Trophy. So I can understand where the selectors are coming from. They're looking at raw attributes. Gurnur has those raw attributes. I'm not very sure it's still there in terms of being a finished product, but he's a tall, fast bowler. I can see what that definitely thinking a tall, fast bowler who gets some bounce and bowls at decent pace. So basically, I think that is how he has got in. Having said that, Akib Nabi is a skillful bowler. He's a skillful swing bowler. It's not someone who depends all the time on grass. He can swing the ball in the air. But I can understand where the selectors are coming from, their thoughts. I think they're looking beyond Ranji Trophy, especially after what happened with Karun Nair, especially after what happened with someone like Anshul Kamboj. I watched a lot of him in domestic cricket. He takes a lot of wickets, but those wickets are pretty much grassy decks where it tends to stay low. So I think that is what I would say about this situation. As far as Harsh Dubey is concerned, he's a pretty useful spinner. You would have also seen a lot of him, perhaps more of him than me. But he's a very pretty useful left arm spinner, accurate. That's what you get in Indian domestic cricket nowadays. Hopefully, from a connoisseur's point of view, you would think that we are missing those days where you used to see spinners in India beating the batsmen in the air. But you have to move on with times where you get a lot of these accurate left arm spinners darting it in. It comes from that kind of school. Also, I think slightly wide of the crease, pretty accurate. And yes, as you know, is a very decent batsman. So that are my views. But I again go back at that same point. Just like the Australian selectors, just like the England selectors, I think Indian selectors also now understand that they somewhere have to look beyond the Ranji Trophy. This is just a general point of view, and I can see to some extent, I think it makes sense because I gave a couple of examples. Hansul Kambo taking a lot of wickets, Karun Nair scoring a lot of runs. It didn't necessarily work out the way it should have.
Shamik, in continuation with this, this match will one of test will be played in India. Akib Nabi played, 2 seasons. He's been the standout performer in domestic cricket, standout pace bowler. If in Indian conditions you will not give him chance, then when you will give him chance? That's the question. You could have easily dropped a Prasidh Krishna and try somebody like Akib Nabi for this one-off test and see how he could bowl. If he could have performed, then you could have taken him to away series as well, the Sri Lanka series. But you are not giving opportunity to somebody like Akib Nabi on Indian wickets or who has done well on Indian wickets.
Yes, Vaibhav, as I have already said, and Devashish has also raised this point. I mean, when you are not picking someone after on the heels of 60 Ranji Trophy wickets, and he was the chief architect in as far as Jammu and Kashmir winning their maiden Ranji Trophy title, then you are probably sending a wrong message that whatever you do in domestic cricket, but it is difficult to convince the selectors. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword in the sense sometimes it happens. It is not just about the volume of runs or the number of wickets. Um, Selectors go beyond that. The selector's job actually is to go beyond that because you have to keep in mind the conditions where the domestic matches are being played, the quality of opponents, and everything. But at the end of the day, Akib Nabi has done it against I mean, serious opponents, Bombay, Karnataka, Bengal. I mean, he has done it against quality opponents. So it is very, very, I think it is very, very unlucky. It is very, very unlucky. Yeah, and when you are taking Mohammad Siraj, when you are taking Mohammad Siraj, because Siraj was always going to be there because once you are resting Bumrah, you need to have a leader of the attack. You cannot have Rashid Krishna as the leader of your attack. So between Gurnur Brar, Rashid Krishna, and Akib Nabi, there is not much difference. And this was not part. No, this wasn't even part of the World Test Championship cycle. So from that point of view, I think he is pretty unlucky. I think as Devashish very rightly said, now that he's not being picked for the one-off test against Afghanistan, which is not part of the World Test Championship, he has very little chance to be picked for the two test series in Sri Lanka. So the earliest can get into the Indian team is the tour of New Zealand, which is in autumn. But still, 6 months is a pretty long time in sport. You never know in terms of how his fitness will be, how he will shape up 6 months down the line, everything. How he will cope with this disappointment also. That is also a factor. But then again, if he is a strong character, he will keep fighting.
He will keep fighting. But Bharat, the interesting thing is Rishabh Pant has not been mentioned as a wicketkeeper also in the Test squad, and Dhruv Jurel is there. KL Rahul also obviously keeps wickets. He has kept wickets in the past as well in South Africa. So does it, sort of gives an indication that if Rishabh Pant is not keeping, obviously selectors have made that he's been a match winner in Test cricket. But could there be a case where they can think of dropping Pant and playing a Dhruv Jurel ahead of him just to try him for one-off test and see, because Dhruv Jurel can play as a specialist batter as well, because KL Rahul, if he is vice captain, is unlikely to be donning the gloves.
Is it, is it for me?
Yeah, it's for you.
Okay. Yeah. Because we were going in a chronological order, that's why I asked. Anyway, Rishabh Pant, just see, there would be some pressure on him. He's been dropped down from the vice captaincy role. He's now just a kind of a normal player in that particular test squad. See, Rishabh Pant is definitely game breaker in test cricket, but I think this management views him slightly differently. So, as long as this management is around, I think Rishabh Pant has to somehow curb his natural instincts. There could be certain managements who tell to Rishabh Pant, yeah, you are my game breaker. You just stick to your natural instincts. Occasionally, it could lead to some mistakes, but that's absolutely fine unless you're playing with conviction. It is still fine because the other school of thought is that could be a defensive batter who plays with a tentative poke, and that's as bad as someone perhaps advancing down the track and getting caught by the slip fielder. So it's not like a player with playing with a tentative poke is much better. He's also not showing any kind of conviction, but at least Rishabh Pant was trying to attack there. But that's other school of thoughts. Because he's someone who bases his game on natural instincts. So the Indian management also has to understand that you can't really curb his natural instincts completely. But obviously, I understand sometimes in the first innings in Gawati, when India were kind of down and out at that point of time, perhaps that stroke was not needed. So still, in my humble opinion, you should keep backing Rishabh Pant because he's very much in this format. At least, he's a game changer, he's a game breaker. He can play an extraordinary innings at some point of time, even when he's kind of not in form. So I would have continued with him as the vice captain. But as I noted, as long as Rishabh Pant is under this management, I think he has to slightly curb his natural instincts. I'm not very sure. They like the Rishabh Pant maybe charging down the track, playing that kind of a lap shot. Although it's just a part of his game. Somewhere understand that it's a part of his game. See, because for Rishabh Pant, getting caught on the boundary line is like a defensive batter getting caught in the slip cordon. It's very similar for him. But as long as he's with this management, I think he has to curb his natural instincts. So maybe not in the upcoming Test match, but maybe somewhere in the future, if he doesn't score runs, if he again charges down the track and gets out, Rishabh Pant might be dropped. But in my humble opinion, he should have been continued as the vice captain and should have been back to the hills because you don't get game breakers like him from the top of the tree, falling from the top of the tree.
Devashish, last season, Sai Sudarshan played the most of the home season against West Indies, then against South Africa. He was batting at number 3. Team management showed a lot of faith in him at number 3, but he didn't give those kind of performances with the bat. He's known as a good player of spin, but against quality opposition against the South Africa on tricky wickets, his game was found out. But still, the team management, the selectors are keeping faith in Sai Sudarshan. Although there were talks, there were media reports that he could be dropped. And obviously, Shamik also reported that Devdutt Padikkal will be back in the test squad. Devdutt Padikkal is there. But Sai Sudarshan, how important this one-off test will be if he gets picked? Because already there is a Devdutt Padikkal breathing under his neck. And obviously, Dhruv Jadeja can also play as a specialist batter.
It will be a tricky call. It will be a tricky call with both Devdutt Padikkal and Sai Sudarshan performing in IPL. But you cannot count IPL performance for selection means when it comes to picking the playing 11. And one goes back to that knock against South Africa in Guwahati. Shomikda will agree with me. He was just stuck in the crease. Hardly there was any intent to rotate the strike or take runs. Means as a number 3 batter, the owners means obviously we have seen in the past likes of Rahul Dravid or Chatishwar Pujara. Means yes, the role of a number 3 batter is to anchor the innings, but at the same time you need to keep the score ticking, which was not the case with Sai Sudarshan in that series against South Africa. But yes, obviously that is gone. That is gone now. That is past. But now that he is picked, I think he needs to be given a longer rope. One only reason I'm saying he needs to be given a longer rope. See, now that you have picked him, because number 3 is a very, very crucial position in Test match. So now that you have given him another chance, you need to sustain with him. Yes, Devdutt Padikkal is also there, but since both are there, I would rather go for a Sai Sudarshan just because of longevity, the continuity. Because one series can be poor, but that doesn't mean that you need to drop him. Then what will happen to his confidence? And even in that, so for that matter, I would rather see Sai Sudarshan going in at number 3 ahead of a Devdutt Padikkal.
Shamik, you also agree with Devashish, or you differentiate from him?
No. I think Sai Sudarshan, he has been India's long-term investment at number 3, and they are not going to completely discard him after just one season. because he started only last year from England. So after just one season, someone who is a long-term investment, he is not. They are not going to discard him. But as you rightly said, Vaibhav, Devdutt Padikkal is seriously breathing down his neck, and maybe he has his nose in front as regards batting at number three. But just moving beyond it and continuing a little bit with on Rishabh Pant, I actually have a question for Devashish. And as because we are there, Devashish, it takes two to tango. Just blaming Gautam Gambhir that he has been unfair on Rishabh Pant, I mean, I think that is not right. At the same time, Rishabh Pant might have reasons to be aggrieved. The shot he played at Guwahati, it was atrocious. Kapil Dev, many years ago, was dropped for something less. And I'm talking about Kapil Dev here. So, from that point of view, there is a school of thought, Rishabh Pant, that is his natural game, but there can be, like you and I were at that press conference and very incendiary press conference of Gautam Gambhir, and where he sort of just without naming him, he sort of gave him a complete dressing down, saying that you are playing for India and you cannot, it's just cannot be it is your natural game. Because the thing is that when you go back to the time of Saurabh, Vira, Virender Sehwag used to have that license to play his natural game, whatever. And Virender Sehwag is he is a prodigy, he is a completely different thing. But below him, you had Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, Saurabh Ganguly, and VVS Lakshman, arguably the greatest middle order in the history of the game. So the license that Virender Sehwag used to enjoy, Rishabh Pant, unless it is his failure that he hasn't evolved in terms of his style, in terms of his approach. Do you agree with that, Devashish?
Yeah, and I would just like to add one more thing from there, because with vice captaincy, it's an added responsibility. So you expect, when you are the vice captain, you would expect him to be a bit more responsible, which was not. I'm not against. I am no way against Rishabh Pant's attacking instinct. He is a natural stroke player. He will play like that only. Means no point carving him his attacking instinct. But with vice captaincy, see what the selectors have done. They have just stripped off his vice captaincy, because as a vice captain he has failed to deliver. Means with the vice captaincy it was added responsibility which he failed in that series against South Africa.
Shamik, there is a question for you, and again, which I asked already, that KL appointed as VC for only Afghanistan test, or is it a permanent appointment?
This is, on the face of it, this is for Afghanistan test, but the message is, as I told you, Vaibhav, the message is loud and clear. Rishabh Pant has been stripped of his vice captaincy, and that is the story. He has been, and may, after that shot, I think it is connected. They will never say it, but I think it is connected to the shot he played. Because after that shot, and it was a very, very poor shot, you have to accept, given the situation, it was atrocious. And there has to be some consequences.
I think when Shubman Gill got injured in Kolkata in the first innings, I think after that,
And
Rishabh Pant
Rishabh was
only let him.
captaining the test. You have
Exactly.
to understand that Rishabh was captaining the
Yes.
test.
That's the point I'm bringing. That Shubman Gill, who was your captain, he got injured in the first innings of the Kolkata Test, and in the midway that test, Rishabh Pant took the reins. He was the captain, and then from that, India lost the Kolkata Test, and then the way India lost the Guwahati Test as well. Rishabh Pant was the captain, and it's not just about his batting. I remember that test, the openers came in and Rishabh Pant was the captain. He spread the field. What you do in the first 10 overs, you give your bowlers the maximum chance by bringing the closing in fielders. Rishabh Pant, what he did, he sent one fielder to long on, and he spread the field. So you are allowing easy singles to the batters who are new to the wicket. They have not even played one ball, and you have spread the field. So I think the captaincy also, the team management, the coaches cannot teach the captain how to, rotate your bowlers, or how to, place your fielders, how you should place your fielders. So I think that also contributed to Rishabh Pant's demotion as vice captain, because that was the series for Rishabh Pant, the captain. He didn't fire with the bat, and with his tactics, we all have been saying that Rishabh Pant, the captain, he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and it is evident with the way he has played for LSG as well as captain. But Bharat, now since Harsh
I'll
Dubey
just
is
add a point in the one, just
yeah,
one,
yeah,
one
okay,
small point, just
yeah,
one small point on Rishabh Pant. See, this is just looking at a larger picture. See, when I watch a lot of domestic cricket, what I see with even modern day Indian batters, not just England modern day batters or Australian modern day batters, they tend to clear their front leg and try to play across the line. So we are living in these times. You can see that in the IPL, a lot of these players play domestic cricket. Even in domestic cricket, they play in a very similar fashion, try to clear their front leg, try to play across the line. So Gautam Gambhir going forward, or the management, I'm not looking at just one player. Going forward, I think they have to look at balancing their act between allowing players to play with some freedom and looking at defensive techniques. Because I don't think going forward you will see too many modern day batters belonging to the addicts of test match batsmanship. That's not going to come, not just with regard to the Indian team, with regard to the Australian team, with regard to the England team. I see that happening more and more. So I think going forward, the Indian management has to just have that kind of a strike a balance between allowing players to play with freedom and players who come through the system with good defensive techniques. I hardly see someone with a very good technique against the moving ball somewhere in Ranji Trophy at present. So most of the batters are trying to play in an aggressive fashion, and that is how it is going to be. We like it or not, that is how it is going to be in Test cricket going forward. I think that is where someone like Gautam Gambhir or the Indian management as well have to strike a balance.
But I think KL Rahul is a safer bet in Test match cricket. He brings in a wealth of experience, and you can see he's a lot. When it comes to responsibility, I think he's a better person than Rishabh Pant. I am not nowhere saying that Rishabh Pant is a bad choice as a vice captain, but when it the sheer fact that KL Rahul with a senior player, he will bring in a lot more responsibility. And now he's the vice captaincy now. You can expect lot many things better.
In fact, Devashish, right from the very beginning, he was mother henning Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill was a young captain, and right from that England tour, he was completely by his side, guiding him, offering him experience, offering his words of wisdom, and basically he was playing the role of de facto vice captain right from that England series, and they have a fantastic chemistry. Shubman and KL, they have a fantastic chemistry, the mutual trust. They have a fantastic chemistry. So from that point of view, I think in hindsight, and hindsight gives you some advantage. Maybe at the very beginning when they appointed Shubman Gill as captain, maybe that was the time they should have appointed KL as vice captain. But then again, I think it is a good decision. It is a good decision, and it is also, I think Rishabh should take it in a positive way. That now he's completely free, he's unfettered, and now he can solely concentrate on his game. And off late, he's not providing that pyro that he used to provide. He still remains a world class batsman in Test cricket. So he just needs to channel that thing, and I think Rishabh should also take it in a positive way.
yeah, I think freeing up of captaincy duties, vice captaincy duties will, could get the best out of Rishabh Pant as the batter. But moving ahead, Bharat, what do you make of Nitish Kumar Reddy's selection for the home test, one of test? Because last season when he was playing at number 8 and he was not even bowling, because his bowling was he was at that in that season he was bowling mid 120s to high 120s. This season, if you look at the IPL, he's touching 135. There's a big difference. But last year there were a lot of questions. He was batting below Washington Sundar, Ravindra Jadeja. He's in fact a batting all-rounder, but a batting all-rounder batting at number 8 was a big question, and that raised the question: is Nitish Kumar Reddy the best choice as a seam bowling all-rounder for India at the moment in red ball cricket? But selectors have, they have continued to show faith in Nitish Kumar Reddy as well.
See, Nitish Kumar Reddy, I would definitely have him in Sena Nations. That is for sure. If the version that I saw in IPL, he keeps up that pace, he maintains that pace, I would definitely have him in Sena Nations, because he was even bowling 130, even touching 139 kilometers per hour, thanks to Stephen Jones. with Stephen Jones coaching camp. But having said that, I don't understand why exactly would be picked for a test match in India. I don't know what exactly brings to the setup as far as playing in India is concerned. But outside of India, I would look at him, especially considering how has bowled in this IPL. His pace is improved because he's someone who can swing the ball. He can definitely swing the ball. That I've seen in domestic cricket as well. He's taken some wickets in domestic cricket where he has definitely swung the ball. So if you can bowl at about 135, 136 kilometers per hour and swing the ball, then definitely I will have a look at him in Sena countries. But when it comes to playing in India, I don't know why he gets in because he definitely wouldn't want another all-rounder out there, pace bowling all-rounder in Indian conditions, unless he's some Kapil Dev or is someone who has touched that kind of level. Uh, so I wouldn't have him in this particular squad. Maybe they're still thinking of nurturing him. It is good to have Sabbar in the reserves, even if he's not in the playing 11. Maybe then he can work with the bowling coach or on those lines. That could be one of the reasons. But otherwise, it doesn't really make sense to have him in India in Indian conditions for a test match. But going forward, I think he should be an integral part of the Indian test squad for New Zealand conditions. Hopefully, he can bowl 12, 15 overs, do some rest to the main bowlers and look like a wicket taker. And then obviously not a number 8. If you can somehow slot in at number 6 or number 7, then I think he would add some value in those conditions.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what position he bats and if he gets an opportunity in that one-off test. But moving ahead, Devashir, we have a super chat. You can take this from Varun Malhotra. Why no Akib Nabi in test and Jaiswal in ODI?
Yeah, as we discussed, we should have definitely had Akib Nabi in that test squad. And if you look at the test squad, means obviously as Bharat rightly pointed out, means I'm totally agree with him. No point means obviously Nitish Reddy is someone who you can bet in Sena countries, but definitely with his pace, means obviously more or less the same pace Akib Nabi and Nitish Reddy around 130, 135. So maybe they could have, the selectors could have rewarded Akim Nabi by picking him for the test squad. And Nitish Reddy is very much in the reckoning for the 2027 vision. So for the World Cup. So I think I don't know the logic behind Nitish Reddy having Nitish Reddy when you have already three pacers in Gurnur Brar, Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna. Means you have a Washington Sundar. So do you still expect a Nitish Reddy to feature in that 11? So in that way, you could have easily got in a Akib Nabi who could have got that taste of being in that Indian dressing room. So I think that would have been rewarded even had he not played in that had not featured in the playing eleven, just to be in that Indian dressing room. I mean, it is kind of a reward. I am not saying that you just get him straight into that playing 11, but I think it was a bit unfair as well on the part of Akim Nabi.
Shamik, when I look at the ODI squad, and as you said, the selectors, while naming the squad, they said Rohit Sharma is subject to fitness clearance. If that is the case, and Rohit Sharma is 100% not fit, then who are your backup options as an opener in the one-day squad? Then I see no Yashasvi Jaiswal in the squad, and Ishan Kishan is there. So does it give a sort of signal that it could be Ishan Kishan if Rohit misses out at the top?
Yeah, Ishan Kishan is an option. Obviously, Ishan Kishan has scored a double hundred opening the innings. But Rohit Sharma, I believe he will be fit. It's still about a month to go, and that's why it is as per protocol that BCCI will have to make that announcement that Rohit Sharma and Hardik Pandya have been picked subject to fitness. But Rohit Sharma still remains India's first choice opener, along with Shubman Gill. Obviously, Shubman Gill is a fantastic. Shubman Gill's ODI record has been fantastic, and that remains India's first choice opening pair. If there is any problem, if the second in line is Yashasvi Jaiswal, irrespective of him in being part of the squad or not. Suppose there is some pullout or someone fails to make the cut because of fitness, then who will be brought into that fold? That is Yashasvi Jaiswal, irrespective of whether he is part of the 15 or not. And this is a home series, so absolutely no problem. And Yashasvi Jaiswal firmly remains in contention. Ishan Kishan, as because Ishan Kishan is a proven performer in ODI cricket. That's why he has aged past Sanju Samson. He has aged Sanju Samson on this ground that he is a proven performer, and Ishan Kishan has been doing pretty well. So Rohit Sharma, I'm not too, not too concerned. And see, when you are talking someone about like Rohit Sharma, the best thing is to leave it to him because he knows the best. We are not talking about someone like Nitish Reddy, right? We're talking about Rohit Sharma. And he knows the best. If he feels he will play only if he feels 100%. If he feels that he can give 100% to the team's cause, he will play. Otherwise, he will take the call. So I think nobody has to be that much worried about what Rohit Sharma has been doing. What I see is that when completely fit, when in top fettle, he is still India's one of the best batsmen in the only format is he plays, along with Virat Kohli. He is still one of India's best batsmen in the only format he plays.
Bharat, impressed with Prince Yadav's selection before the IPL. Nobody was talking about Prince Yadav, and suddenly has a good season, great season in fact with LSG, where he picks up the wicket of Virat Kohli as well, does well with the new ball, moves the ball both ways, swings the ball, seams the ball. You talked about him in brief during the pre-match shows. So impressed with Prince Yadav's selection.
Yes, see, Prince Yadav is someone who actually interested in the Vijay Hazare Trophy as well. If you notice, it's not like it's not performed in domestic cricket. He's performed in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. And what I noticed in that Vijay Hazare Trophy game between Delhi and Andhra here at the center of excellence on a very, very flat pitch was that he also had developed a slower short ball. So in the 2025 IPL, what you noticed was it was very raw. But in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, what I noticed when I watched him at the ground was he developed a slower short ball and he was beginning to swing the ball a little bit. And that is something that I think we have seen in the IPL. And if anything, he's swinging the ball even more in the world of IPL. So I think he's a very good prospect. Hopefully, he will get to play more first class cricket. As I interviewed Sarandeep Singh as well, he was telling that he wants someone like Prince Yadav to play more first class cricket. So, considering all that, I think it's a good selection. Someone who has come up by leaps and bounds in just 1 year, because last year the same bowler was not swinging the ball. Someone who's played a lot of tennis ball cricket, it can't be easy to suddenly start swinging the ball because you kind of hold the tennis ball very tight. Whereas when it comes to leather ball, you need that kind of a caressing grip to swing the ball. So for him to improve by leaps and bounds in just 6 months tells something about his hard work, about his determination, and his very deceptive pace. He's deceptively quick. So I think it's a good selection based on what I've seen in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, not just in the IPL. I think he's ready to play limit overs cricket. As far as Test cricket is concerned, he needs to play at least a few more first-class matches. Not for anything else. We have seen his skills, but mainly because everyone would want to see whether he can sustain that kind of pace or longer periods or 15 overs or 20 overs. So let us see what he will do in first-class cricket. But I think in limit overs cricket is definitely a good pick.
Vaibhav, some news for our viewers. One is that the BCCI has taken India's decline in the longer format in red ball cricket very, very seriously. And a resurrection is in the process. I mean, this test match is coming on the heels of the IPL, so there is not much time. But before the Sri Lanka series, there is a plan to have a camp. If that is not possible, uh, for red ball tour, India A team would be sent to Sri Lanka, and some test regulars would be part of that to get a feel of the conditions. So that is, I mean, that they are mulling on, that the BCCI is mulling on, and BCCI is is absolutely determined to arrest India's test slide. I mean, over the last couple of years, we have seen back-to-back home series whitewashes. So BCCI has taken note, and BCCI is in the process of resurrecting things.
Thanks for that break, Shamik. Moving ahead to Devashish, another talking point of this ODI squad, obviously Ravindra Jadeja, as RR also said in last game, he mentioned for last game he missed for Rajasthan Royals, and RR said that he's carrying a niggle. So Ravindra Jadeja, you understand he's an aging player. Workload management is a part of his career now because he plays both ODI and Test cricket. But what about Akshar Patel? He's been sidelined from the ODI squad since the Australia tour. He missed the South Africa tour, and then he missed the New Zealand series as well at home. So given that when you don't have a Ravindra Jadeja fit and available for selection, the next in line should be Akshar Patel, given his performances for India last year, specifically in ODI cricket. If you look at the Champions Trophy, he was batting at number 5. He was given a new role where where he excelled really well. He proved his mettle with the bat and he took important wickets as well. He had his best year in ODI cricket last year. And then what he finds himself out of the team after a series which was lost by all of it was a combined loss. You cannot blame anybody for that loss to in Australia. But it was Akshar who was given the exit gate. He was shown the exit gate. And when Ravindra Jadeja is not available, why? What could be the school of thoughts behind keeping somebody like Akshar Patel out of the team even when he's fit and available for selection?
Fair point. You have raised a very fair point, Vaibhav, because it's baffling as well. Means obviously when Jadeja you can understand, means obviously because of workload management, but Akshar means are the selectors giving it a weighing on the IPL performance, then it would have been unfair. Means obviously IPL performance cannot be the benchmark for you to be picked in an Indian team. So and when it comes to one day squad. So I think clearly it was unfair, but at the same time, means until and unless you try, say other left arm spinners, you won't get a next left arm spinner in the pipeline. And what better than a series against Afghanistan playing at home? So I think that might be the only reason that Harsh Dubey has been picked. And otherwise, I see no way why Akshar. Maybe because that he is playing continuously, he was given some sort of rest. But I very much is confident that he will be picked for the series against Sri Lanka.
Shamik, before you add something on that, I will just add a question in that. If Akshar, just in case if he misses out on England tour as well, then will you say that selectors are looking at only Ravindra Jadeja for the 2027 World Cup because then it will be 4 series where Akshar has missed back to back.
No, Vaibhav, Akshay is very much in the scheme of things. Ravindra Jadeja is also in the scheme of ODI things, but today Agarkar said, especially especially was the operative word. When he said, especially in Test cricket, he remains our first spinner. Akshar is very much in the scheme of things, but Devashish has nailed it because you have to have you have to have an idea about your supply line. Who are your supply line? That is Manap Sutar, Harsh Dubey. They are your supply line. They are your next in line. So you have to. This is your series. You are not going to experiment. You are not going to experiment in a marquee assignment. So this is the series, and I think it is absolutely fair call. It would be wrong to construe that either Ravindra Jadeja or Akshar Patel has been dropped. It is just about the selectors want to have a look at the next line. That is it. Simple.
Bharat, can the same reason be given to Mohammad Siraj as well, who's been dropped once again? He was dropped from the Champions Trophy squad as well. Now he's once again dropped. Even though it's just one-off test where he will lead the pace attack, he could have been picked for the this three-match ODI series, but he's not there in that series. So how you are looking at Mohammad Siraj's omission for this ODI series?
My this thing mouse got stuck. Sorry for that. Just
No
a
worries.
couple of seconds, my mouse got stuck. Anyway, see, Mohammad Siraj Zabar, I think if he's fit and firing, definitely I think he should be part of both the ODI and Test squads because even in terms of the ODI squad, you need someone with fitness. You need someone with experience. That's what I think Siraj brings to the table. So if he's fit and firing, in my humble opinion, it should be in both the squads. Otherwise, it has to be because you just want to rest him. Because see, Siraj has played a lot of games. He's played a lot of games for India over a period of time. I don't know for how long it is. So maybe that's the question you asked, right? That uh, about resting him. I just want to add.
You want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, because
There was a technical flaw. So I asked, like, the reason that Shamik and Devashish both mentioned the next line. You want to look at the next gen of players like Harsh Dubey, given the nod ahead of an Akshar Patel. Similarly, Prince Yadav being selected in this squad. So is it like one-off series where selectors want to look at the other options as well? They know what a Mohammad Siraj can do, but they
Yeah,
also want to
that's
look
what
at
I was
how.
actually that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, I will continue on that. See, even someone like Gurnur Barar has some promise. I think he's a very tall, fast bowler. Whatever I've seen, decent pace, hits the pitch hard. So but they definitely want to see other options as well, because if they're going to play in South African conditions in the World Cup, as they would play the World Cup in the South African conditions, they would want some tall, fast bowlers. For example, if Harshit Rana gets injured, if they feel that they have to look past Prasidh Krishna, though although he's taken wickets in ODI cricket, if it's fair, okay, if it's fair enough that he's gone for some runs, but he's taken a lot of wickets in ODI cricket as well. But if they want to look past him, if they want to look past Harshit Rana, they would need another tall fast bowler, and that would be maybe Gurnur Barar, or who knows, Ashok Sharma as well in the coming days. And the same thing you can say about Prince Yadav. Is very, very promising talent. We can swing the ball, a deceptive pace. So they definitely want to experiment. So I can understand from that point of view. Siraj also has played a lot of international cricket over the last 1 year. He's played a lot of international cricket. So you would want to rest him at some point of time. He's not a god. He's not someone who's going to be fit for uh, and then 4 years continuously, or in the 2 3 years continuously. At some point of time he will break down as well. So I can perfectly understand. Otherwise, with his experience, he would have definitely, I think, made it to that ODI squad as well, because you need someone with experience in both the test and the ODI squads. But anyway, it's Afghanistan. You can still bank on your second string players to come in and win the games for you. I'm not counting out Afghanistan. They have very much improved, especially in ODI cricket, not necessarily in Test cricket, but still, when they have the required depth, when they have the required strength to experiment with second string players, hopefully players like Gurnur Barar and Prince Yadav will come good. I'm especially looking forward to someone like Prince Yadav, because I think he is a quality bowler, just that he needs to play more games.
Yes, Shamik.
Uh, Vaibhav, Mohammad Siraj has not been dropped. He has been. It is just workload management. If they had option, they would have rested him for the Test series also. But as once they decided to, and Bumrah had to be rested, so they needed a leader of the fast bowling pack, and that's why Siraj was there in the Test side. But the ODI squad doesn't have that kind of a compulsion of having a leader of the pack. So and Siraj, the way he has been playing, and then once again he will go to Sri Lanka. So he has been rested to manage his workload.
I think workload management, given the hectic schedule that Indian team has
Yeah.
every year, I think it is definitely, when it comes to the fast bowlers, workload management is a big thing, and obviously Indian selectors keep a
Although
close eye
Siraj
on.
has a very high, he has a very high
Yeah,
work.
no doubt.
I mean, he has a very high workload threshold.
Yeah, definitely. When a lot of bowlers were getting injured in England, Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, obviously, and lot of bowlers were getting injured. Then it was obviously the Mohammad Siraj who played all the test, and played exemplary well. He was the main contributor, along with Shubman Gill, why India were able to level the series. But yeah, that's it for us from this particular show. We'll be back after an hour with the pre-match live show for the IPL game today, which will be played between LSG and RR. So don't forget to join us then. And till then, follow the space, follow Rev Sports. Thanks Shamik, thanks Devish for joining. Also Bharat, and we'll be back after an hour. Thank you.